framing wise, I'm taller. So you're gonna have to stand closer to the camera.
You mean to get the block? I can go stand on the block.
I don't think this is gonna work. Maybe if I go higher and have it at a down angle, we can just look up and we'll be the same height.
Oh, there you go.
See, you look tall now.
Tallish. I am tallish.
You look like you're almost my height. Hey guys, Joe here,
I'm Pastor Brian.
and we're here to talk to you about a serious matter. So you may have seen that there was a church sign going around that said something maybe a little controversial, and maybe we're the guilty party.
We're definitely the guilty party.
Yeah, we're definitely the guilty party. So here's what happened. Earlier this month on November 7th, I came up with the idea of turning our church sign into one of the Epstein memes. I said it could go locally viral, and so we made it, and it did go, I would say, locally viral. First, the Times picked it up. That's our local newspaper. And then neighboring towns started to pick it up. Neighboring counties started to pick up the article as well. It was starting to be shared a lot, to the point where it went from local to nationwide viral, which was a little unforeseen to that point, but we're very grateful for it because of what we were wanting. In fact, the New York Daily News even picked it up, and then it was sourced from there even more, being shared and shared and shared. I believe even Reddit had it. Last I saw, even today, it was the top page with over 70,000 shares, let alone views. So it was it just blew up way bigger. It's been getting positive responses, of course, negative as well, but overall overwhelmingly positive, and to the point where even the newspaper had to do a follow-up because of the amount of attention it was getting. So that's pretty much what happened in a nutshell, of course. But what we're here to do now is to give you a little bit more context.
I've received many calls from all over the country, well, technically all over the world, in support of the sign. And we have received some negative comments. However, from what I can tell, the majority of the negative comments have been taking the post out of context and not understanding social media trends.
Some people even claim that it's a political post. However, there was absolutely no political motivation behind the post. However, we were wanting to make an impact, and we understand that in order to make an impact, we're going to cause waves. So we caused some waves.
The sign was a way for our church to stay culturally relevant in a time where society is trying to push the church out of culture. It's high time the church push back.
I mean, if you think about it, the very first word and the very first sentence of the meme church sign was Jesus. The very first sentence was, Jesus willingly died for you. So you're talking about thousands, hundreds of thousands of people reading the very first sentence, which is Jesus willingly died for you. Unlike Epstein, who didn't kill himself. Sorry. One of the other things that I heard people saying is that you shouldn't even compare Jesus to Epstein. First of all, it's not a comparison, it's a
Contrast.
Exactly. It's unlike, which means unlike. So that being said, even if it was a comparison, that wouldn't have inherently been bad anyways. We can compare apples and oranges, and we can compare Jesus versus the devil. We can compare and we can
Contrast.
boom. So I mean, it's not really a thing.
Let us not forget that Jesus was hung on the cross between two criminals.
You shouldn't say the word hung in this video.
What? The Bible has always been a hot button subject and in the spotlight, and we should not be afraid to speak about the truth between its pages. The community needs hope and something in order for us to build our lives around, and the message is contained within those pages.
We shouldn't just be letting community impact us. We should be impacting community. We should be impacting our culture. So I think what is important to know is there has been impact. You may have heard a few negative things, but the good impact God and what he's doing, even just through this little meme right here, what we did, it's been phenomenal. It's been amazing. The reason we can sit here with smiles and kind of really take on this with like it's not really a big deal. I mean, we understand it is, but the reason we can have a lightheartedness to this in the first place is because we literally see what God is doing. For example,
I've had pastoral friends call me from all over the country and talk about having conversations with people that they would have never had the chance to have before, because it has opened up the door for both some humor and allows us to be able to get involved in a hot button issue.
in fact, it's even gone beyond that. There's been personal phone calls and conversations and messages that have already happened that have come through specifically where it's clearly God at work, and people, I know it seems like such a silly meme, but it's opened the door for people to say, I feel like I can talk to you. I feel like I can express some things.
I've had people call me recently this week and in tears because they finally felt like they could come forward and have a discussion with a pastor who might understand. Not saying that all pastors don't understand, but that was the view they had. And through the outcrying of this media trend, it has opened the door for me to have conversations with people to help bring them hope and healing and to be able to pray for them in a special way.
And that's what this is all about. This isn't about the fact that we can make something go viral. This is about the fact that God is able to do things in spite of us. This is about the fact that God really can just move mountains. And for example, I genuinely believe that he is doing great things. And I do. I genuinely believe that God is doing great things through us, through many of you. And we're excited to kind of see what God's going to continue to do. And we hope that you guys can just love us through it. We're not claiming to be perfect or have it all figured out. I mean, you might have it all figured out.
I don't think I have it figured out either.
Well, then there we are, guys. We don't have it all figured out, but we're definitely here making sure that you know that Jesus willingly died for you.
I want to encourage you to go boldly into your community and proclaim the gospel message that Jesus willingly died for you.
Amen.